So, yeah, the WNBPA people have had a meeting with Kathy Engelbert about, the entire situation around, online harassment, online abuse. And I don't think Kathy can really do anything about it. First and foremost, I'm going to be really, 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 really clear. This is the funniest thing is the fact that they have a Jedi Council. That is my favorite thing about all this. They have basically, I know it's the Jedi Committee, but I'm just going to call it from now on the Jedi Council. They have the Jedi Council, which is Aaliyah Edwards, Dewana Bonner. Of course, Dewana Bonner's in it. Of course, Dewana Bonner is part of the people that are going at it. Of course they are. Of fucking course they are. At the end of the day, let's be very clear. It is kind of shit that the WNBA players have to deal with stuff, but I don't really know what the league can do. So let's take a listen here. Elizabeth Williams describes the meeting as good. It was an hour-and-a-half meeting where two main topics were security and officiating accountability. How exactly do you have a meeting where the two main topics are player security and referees? How exactly do you come to the conclusion that you have a meeting where those are the two topics? There is no way that there should ever be a scenario where the two topics at play are security, and referees. They are way too far apart. As topics, they are way, way too far apart. And I'm like, what is actually happening here? What is actually happening? That being said, obviously there's discussion for more meetings in the league, and it says also here, at least Kathy Engelbert and the league said security were on call alongside WNBA Executive Committee and the Justice, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which is Aaliyah Edwards, Dewana Bonner, and Alicia Clark and Breanna Steward. Again, why? Why do they have to be the fucking Jedi? Why do they have to be the Jedi? Oh my God. There's discussion for more meetings in the league and the EC happy in the future so that these aren't reactive but are proactive instead. Good. Head security walked through with the EC and Jedi. The fucking Jedi. What the process will be when it comes to reporting online harassment or other security measures is. Williams thought that walking away from the meeting, there are steps being taken to handle security, but there needs to be more consistency in communication. Engelbert took accountability for the better need to communicate with players going forward. There was discussion about the Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark situation, and that if the officials made the call, then the players wouldn't have taken the backlash. Okay. Shit. Okay. This is maybe I'm thinking there is kind of hope. Maybe there is kind of hope for this. Basically, they came to the conclusion, even in a meeting where I don't know which member of the Jet, which one's Yoda, which of these four is Yoda, who's Obi-Wan, who's Mace Windu, of the Jedi Council, whichever one. Dewana Bonner's there, and the fact that they actually came to the conclusion that if the refs just called it on the day, this doesn't happen. That might be the biggest shock of all this. And it is factually correct. Nobody gave a shit about the Alyssa Thomas. Not nobody gave a shit. Let's be real. The Alyssa Thomas situation with Angel Reese was bad. But it didn't end up going on for a week. That being said, Alyssa Thomas, if Alyssa Thomas got one hateful message in any way, Alyssa Thomas would have amplified that because let's be very clear. Alyssa Thomas got abuse from Chicago. Alyssa Thomas blamed her getting abuse from different fans on Caitlin Clark fans. She did. I remember, I can't remember who it was. Alyssa Thomas got somebody. She got somebody. And then she'd been getting, the Fever hadn't played the Sun for 3 months. They played them 3 times in the first 2 weeks of that year. And then didn't play each other for months. Alyssa Thomas, in that spell, she went at Angel Reese, she got somebody else. And then she comes back and is the Indiana Fever fans are worse. You haven't played the FIFA in 3 months. The abuse you're getting is from other people. You're just blaming Caitlin Clark fans. You're using that as an excuse for why you've tried to injure her at least 4 times in her career. I'm being very real. Like, Ellis Thomas has tried to injure Caitlin Clark at least 4 times. Refs need to call it. Refs need to call that. But I'm gonna be real. Like, it is very, very it's very good that they came to this conclusion. And shout out again, Jackie Powell, for posting. I asked Williams what example and step is going to be taken. I think there's also going to be more streamlined conversation between team security and security. And then if it gets escalated to law enforcement, that's something that I think happens. I don't know if everyone knows the steps are being taken. That's a good thing. That's all they have to do is just be proactive. I like the last bullet. Much like JC Mabry's situation, the Kennedy Carter incident, if the officials take control and call things correctly, it becomes a foul or rejection rather than an entire incident. Exactly. Because I mean this, if one single player goes after a player and flagrantly fouls them and they get chucked, it's a very different conversation than if the referees ignore it. Because if the referees ignore it, it becomes a conversation of, do the league have it out for this player? And then when a future suspension comes, then it's, are the league overprotecting this player? And as far as you've heard from, we've heard from everyone, it is, as far as we've heard from everyone involved, some people, it's every side either thinks the league, the players don't want the league to have any preference, and source close Kathy said she's actually gone the opposite way and has gone out of her way to basically not give Caitlin anything just to appease them. But we have a quote. Last night, the Jedi Council met for an honest and meaningful conversation, yada, yada. The conversation underscored the importance of addressing issues early through proactive communication, straighten the league union relationship. The league committed to continuing to enhance security resource and will work with the players' union to explore collaborations with organizations to share the values of our league. What the fuck does that mean? And advance our shared priorities. Yesterday's discussion marked the beginning of an ongoing dialogue. I think it's as simple as this. It is as simple as this. Every team, give teams salary to hire a team-wide social media manager. A team-wide social media manager, and said team-wide social media manager, and basically tell said team-wide social media manager is responsible for moderating comment sections of every player and checking message requests, and make it a blanket rule to players: do not click message requests. Under any circumstance, do not click message requests. And then get the person who is in charge as their social media manager, let them be the ones to report it. Because let's be real, if you don't see it in a lot of situations, these threats don't happen. Because 99.9999% of them are baseless. Somebody has to, on the off chance some of them aren't baseless, but it shouldn't be any of these players. But yeah, it is an interesting one. It really is just an overall interesting situation here. But it seems like, they're doing what they should have done years ago. I still can't believe this didn't happen. I still cannot believe this did not happen years and years ago. They weren't proactive about these things. But look, I guess. I'll see you guys.